coffee. I got coffee filters up there. Yeah, I just ran to the store and got it, and yeah, I was running late, so I didn't get coffee.
We're live. We're live. Yay. So this is Sue Greenwald with Awakened Stories here. I'm here today with the real John F. Kennedy Jr. Dun da da da. Hey John, how you doing?
Every day I get to speak with you, Sue, and I just talked with Smarty. It's a great day. It really
Yep.
is.
Yep. Yep.
So thank you guys.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, okay, I don't even know if we did talk last week. I can't remember that far back. I hate to say it.
I blame old age, so I don't know what your problem is.
There's so much happening in the world, and it's like someone's taken the button and gone. Whoosh. It's moving fast, and it's all good, it's good, but just
Yeah, we
fast.
are at war. We are in a spiritual war. We really are.
Yeah, totally,
Three
totally.
steps forward, two back, though. Keep
Yep,
marching forward.
yep.
Keep marching
Uh, I
forward.
had I had talked the other day about Smarty, and I had mentioned that myself. I had talked with somebody about a month ago, and she was like kind of belly aching about this and that, and blah 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 blah. And I said, "Do you realize that we're at war right now?" And no one even really knows it. Like the normal people don't know it. They just think crazy stuff is happening. We are at war,
Yeah.
and it's
I can
happening
feel it.
now.
I really can.
Yeah.
There's so much love coming my way. There's so much hate coming my way. It's every time I think about it, it's like, we're on this earth with the devil, and he sure makes it rough. And there's so many good people, kind people,
Yeah.
and it makes it all worth it. Just those handful. I
Yeah.
always said, not too long ago, I didn't know there was any good people in this world, but there's a lot of good.
Right. Well,
I'm finding that out. I'm finding that out.
you've had the most horrific, childhood and lifetime. It didn't end when you became, say, 18 or whatever. It's never ending. It hasn't ended for you. It has now. Like it's over now, but like they have purposefully made it tough. They want you to give up. They want you to go away.
Oh, I ain't
And
never giving up.
and you can see the
And
commitment. You're doing videos like literally every day, multiple times a day sometimes.
yeah, I won't give up. And I hope in the future, for the future, people really listen to what I'm saying
Right, right,
and start doing something about it. Get out of the, I don't know what, because so many people are lied to
right.
and believe that our government is there to help us.
Yeah,
And hey, I'm the son of a president saying, hey, these people running this show killed my family,
yeah,
executed my father in broad daylight, my uncle, and they're not good people. They really aren't. But
right, right.
I'm just trying to get that out of what really goes on. And the devil has a big part in that, you know.
And
And us lions, us warriors are marching forward and saying, hey, people rely on the government for safety, for so many things. And we need to start relying on ourselves, we the people.
yeah, yeah. And that's the thing. I love it when people are waiting for the government to tell them what to do, or they want this or that, or they're waiting for a handout sometimes. And they
Yeah.
have to comply by doing this, that, or that. They don't have a clue what's happening to them.
Oh, you got our government saying, oh, yeah, we're going to have a vaccine in 2 months. Yeah, everybody needs to take this vaccine that's not even invented yet. And it's going to be out in 2 months. So everybody take the vaccine. And
Yeah,
then you get all these deaths, my heart failure and every other, but,
yeah,
it's crazy what we trust these lying, thieving. And
yeah,
I am an expert on how our corrupt government works. I lived it. I've seen it
yeah,
over and over and over again. How the cabal will put things right in your face, will lie to you because they sold their soul to the devil.
right.
It's that simple. They don't care about us. They can kill somebody, a child or whatever, and not even care because it's all about them and money and power. I got this book sitting right here in front of me. I need to move this. This is a great example. So you had my identity stolen. I'm the real John Kennedy Jr., by the way, for you people that don't know. I was kidnapped. I was replaced around the age of 10. Well, what the cabal do is they like trophies. They love trophies. They even have a thing called the ring game, and it's a murder crime ring to climb the power that they achieve in their secret organization where they worship the dead. But anyway, so they killed my mom and they stole all of this stuff. All of it was stolen. This whole book was dedicated to what they stole. So you had, and I believe George Onassis killed my fake mom because my mom was, and I know it gets deep, people, but you just got to know identity theft is huge. They replace people to steal their money. So George Onassis, I really believe he killed my fake mom to steal all of this and more, a lot more, millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff. So she's dead now. Him and my fake sister Caroline got all this stuff to sell at Trump Tower with the help of Sotheby's auction. All this merchandise was murder money for sale. So you had people advertising, and I can guarantee, I don't know because I don't watch the news or pay attention to news, but I can guarantee you Fox News, ABC, CBS, NBC, all of them were advertising this murder money on their networks. That's how the cabal do it. We killed Jackie Kennedy. Now we got her possessions. We're going to advertise it to the whole world. So people like Larry King that interviewed George Onassis and was shaking him down right on his show. Larry King interview with John Kennedy Jr. Watch it. And then watch the interview where they were basically planning to sell all of this merchandise on Larry King. They were advertising it right for the whole world to see. Hey, we killed these people. We stole their money. Now we're selling it at Trump Tower. I'm not making this shit up, people. I did an interview with Mel, and he tried to right up my ass, but Mel, yeah. Anyway, sorry, Sue. I don't like doing that
We're all
on
doing it.
somebody else's show. But when somebody asks me to go on their show and then tries to disrespect me and discredit me, um, yeah, me and you're gonna meet someday, Mel. Anyway,
All he had to do was let you tell your story, A, without interruption, and then two, without his ignorant opinions. He's just doing it to bump up his views. You know, a lot of them have an agenda. They're not
yeah. Well,
interested in you or the story. They're interested in their little numbers on the screen.
what ended? See, he's pushing all the fake JFK Jr. bullshit. It's
Hmm.
all fake because I'm the real John Kennedy Jr., the kid by the side of the road, 107. It's all bullshit. I know it's bullshit because I lived it. I see it every day. And but he's pushing that on their shows
Yeah.
and pretending that the Q movement. My last name's Quigley. Q, get it? Tom Selleck's movie Quigley Down Under. They kept me under. They advertised things right in front of your face, people. But anyway, it was all a plan of the cabal to put all this in your face. Susan Sheridan, Sheridan, thank you so much for sharing this with me. Um, I haven't really looked at it because it makes me. Robin was looking at it. And it's like,
Right. Where do you
I,
think you got that book? That's the auction, like the listing of all the possession.
yeah, this book was actually sent to probably all the buyers. Um, but it's a regular catalog, and I heard there was a lot more also. Um, but yeah, some of the
So,
things I kind of remember in there, but it was all stolen from me. The only heir left, Aristotle Onassis, was killed and his billions stole also. That's our Secret Service that do this. The United States Secret Service. So once a president of the United States signs up for Secret Service protection, they're fucked. They're bought and owned. They're told what to do,
yeah.
how to do it, and yeah, we need to expose that. My father tried to expose that, and my mother was controlled by our Secret Service big time. Uh, I lived it. I know. I was there. Do this, do that. Here's what you're going to do today.
Right.
And the title of president and first lady has nothing to do with it. They're going to be told what to do. My father was trying to expose that. I'm exposing the real files, and it's real simple. The JFK files that aren't really released, just all the bullshit, was there's a mafia, there's a syndicate within, there's organized crime within our government, because the big prize all around the whole world is the United States control of our government. That's a big prize. Once you have that, you have all the money, all the power. You can rip people off. People are, the world is giving you money to do what you want. It's the big prize. So that's the control they want to keep, and they got it. But we're coming out and exposing that. Did you just drop something? I did.
Yeah, awesome. Well, with this JFK files, okay, so that was they gave them 45 days to get those files out. Okay, we're digitized now. It's not like they have a paper folder they've got to photocopy, okay? They go, bink, the files are released, pretty much, right? Well, not if you have to go through and sort out what you want to release and scratch out names. So what good are the files if they're being
Censored
censored?
anyway.
Yeah.
Well, they can't expose the real files like I can,
Yeah.
because it exposes them for how things are really run,
Right.
how they do things. And the real files are, you had my father saying, I want to splinter the CIA. Well, it's organized crime at the highest level. They're running the country. And my father's saying, we're going to get rid of you motherfuckers. And so, he's saying that.
Right.
That's the real files. It was a war within our government to take power. They placed my father in power. The people did anyway, or both of them were, and my father was in there going like, "This is bullshit." We're all slaves to this government, this secret societies that are really running things.
Yeah.
And they didn't want to lose that power because they put in a president, JFK. So anyway, he's assassinated. They did not stop. They were going after the money. They were going after. What did I do with that thing over there? They were going after this and so much more. They were organized crime was after all this stuff. To put it on all the news media. Hey, look at what we did. We just took power over the United States of America. Now you want a trophy? Here it is. Buy a piece and get a piece of the trophy, a piece of the murder money, a piece of the prize. That's the cabal. I've seen it so many times. I started getting into that. When I was younger, I had to work hard for everything. And if I ever got something from my enemies, it was a trophy. It was just like the necklace of ears. I was just a kid, but I was taught these are the ears of your enemy. Cherish them because this is what you can do. So, I was only 8, 9 years old, and I had a necklace full of my enemy's ears on my neck. It's kind of sad. I was proud of them back then. It is sad, but I even got brainwashed into thinking, when you're in the syndicate, it's a prize to get a trophy of your enemies. And that's what that book is, basically. It's a catalog of prizes for the cabal. But that's the files. It's real simple to understand. You had the Kennedy families and my mom's side of the family, and real powerful in government families. And then you had a mafia war to take over that power because my father didn't want to go with their program no more. That's it. That's the Kennedy files. Mob war, secret murders, our secret service, our CIA unaliving people, making them disappear. And then if they started talking about what did make them disappear, it's huge what they could do. But that's the Kennedy files, right? Plain and simple mafia war. And who is that exposing? It's exposing the takeover of the United States government. The last real president that wasn't a Hollywood actor, that wasn't part of the cabal, that wasn't placed to be a puppet, a figurehead for the secret societies in the cabal, was my father. They unalived him, and now if they release the real files, who are they exposing? They're exposing all the Bidens, the Trumps, the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bushes, and on and on and on down the line. They're exposing all that because they're all the criminal puppets ever since my father. They can't release a real father. Well, yeah.
Well, I like the fact that you said they're the criminal puppets because they are puppets. So that needs to be explained. They, they're the ones that we think of make these huge decisions, but they're being told what to do as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with we the people. It really doesn't.
Yep.
And it needs to, we rely on our government so much. We
Yeah.
trust our government so much. We're trusting criminals. We're supporting criminals. We're waving our flags for criminals in government. The old school ways of we the people are gone. They have taken over so big, so huge. You have a story like mine, they're not going to let it out. It's what regimes do. They censor the news. They hold it. They own the news. So if you go against them with releasing the real files, they're not going to put it on Fox News. If you have something important you need done, like DNA, like I hear so much about, they're not going to get out there. And you people, I say this a million times. If you're so worried about DNA, demand our government to release it, the real blood-stained dress of my father and mother. There's so much of their DNA out there, but it's so expensive and so covered up.
Right. Right.
Tell our government to release it, or we're going to march on Washington someday by the thousands and demand it. Right
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. I get that question a lot about the DNA. Why doesn't he have a test? Like, it's not like you haven't tried, but clearly a lab can be bought off. The results can be bought off. And you've done maybe 4 or 5, and the tests are all different. The results are different.
Yeah,
Now
and
they're
with
not even responding. So just for the viewer, like, what makes you think that the test is going to be honest and uncorrupted?
well, with that said, I was working under MK Ultra, and I would go on events many times. You know, when you're with handlers and MK Ultra, it's a whole nother sub. It's huge what people don't know about MK Ultra and the power of mind control. It's huge. But I've been in a lab with Wayne, and when I say Wayne, I use that as an example because Wayne was one of the handlers teaching me, and maybe he was a double agent. And all it gets crazy at the top. But we actually went into a lab in the middle of the night. He said, "We're just going to put this bottle in that bottle and this bottle in that bottle." And we locked the door and walked out.
Oh, wow. So what was like he was just switching results?
I have no idea. I don't know if it was a drug test or what, was actually done. All I know is there was a switching of vials in the laboratory. And it was
Wow.
that simple. We're going to take this bottle, put it in this hole. We're going to take this bottle and put it in that hole. Now, maybe it was waking me up, just showing me, hey, this is what we can do. I have seen many things, Sue. I was at a soup plant, and I'm not going to mention this name of this major soup that's in every grocery store all around the world, but I was taken to a factory. This is, the rich own everything. I don't know if I've shared this story or not, but we actually went to this soup company where they were putting the soup in the can and sealing the cans. This is what I was taught. So we're at this major big time factory. Everybody's heard this name. I'm not going to say it because I don't know what'll happen if I say it.
Right.
But anyway, we're on the line of this soup coming out. I don't even remember if it was chicken noodle or vegetable or what it was. But Steve Victor, the guy that was a double agent that I believe tried to have me killed after time went on, because it seems like everybody sells out sooner or later on John Kennedy. But anyway, we're standing at this on the soup line, and he had this eyedropper, and he's dropping these drops in the cans that are coming down the line. I believe he was putting poison in the soup cans. I was a personal eyewitness to this. So he puts the poison in the cans. The lids get sealed. It goes down the end of the line. He goes over and he grabs each can and puts a dent in it, just a little dent in the can. And he said, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I saw that. I don't know if I like it, but I saw it." So, what was actually being done? Because I, for years, I stayed alive by not eating anything but that was out of a can. I don't know if they were trying to make me go on a diet because when you're eating nothing that comes but sealed food because you're worried about getting poisoned. Anyway, that was showed to me. Why? I don't know. I had anything showed to me though. Crazy shit. What's in some of these cans at these factories. But anyway, about 2 years ago, I was making my pickled eggs, and you use beets, um, the red beet to make the pickled eggs, and they're really tasty. But I was making some homemade ones, and I had some canned beets on my shelf in here. Well, I opened them up and I threw them in the pot on the stove, and it went ting ting ting. And I'm like, these are beets in a can. Why are they going ting ting ting? I went, arsenic, because arsenic is made from metals. Arsenic is a very powerful poison. So I went, oh, what the fuck? People are trying to kill me in my canned food again. So anyway, I put the pieces I found of the beets. I threw all the shit away, wasted more money again. And then I got a magnet, and I went in the thing, and ting ting ting. All these pieces of metal from my canned beets are sticking to this magnet. So I know it's a metal alloy. I know for a fact. So I call this canned good food place, and I get the code number, and I say, okay, these code numbers, I just found pieces of metal shards in my canned beets. So what did this great big canned good place do? They sent me free coupons for free vegetables. And they said, oh, well, we checked it out, and it wasn't metal. It was just those beets get really hard, right? They dry out, they get really hard. They sound like metal. That's what the company said. Yeah, but they don't stick to a magnet. At least I was smart enough to see if they were metallic. So anyway, the company was saying no, that they weren't metal. They're just dry beets, and I don't have money. If I had money to analyze all the shit that I thought I was being poisoned with over all these years, but I don't, so I can't send them to a lab.
Can we go back to the canned soup story though? Okay, so this guy puts the poison in the cans. They get sealed up. He dents them. Does he take them or does he let them go out to the public?
I remember him taking them.
So he took the cans specifically and might have been going to switch them in someone's house or whatever.
Exactly.
Ooh.
But he dented them basically to mark them without writing on them or anything, but just put a little dent in them.
Yeah.
Why that was done, I don't know. I really don't. But I do believe he took those with him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could have been vitamins. It could have been poison. But I was thinking it was poison because these people kill people.
Pretty sure it's not vitamins because why would you be sneaking in?
Yeah, I was just throwing that in.
Yeah,
you got to be open minded.
Yeah.
So basically, heck, when I was a kid, they fed me laxative, telling me it was chocolate, and I shit for 2 days straight. What people do is, but these people are killers. If they want to kill somebody and they know vegetable beef is their favorite, they'll switch a can on your shelf, and it's that easy.
And it's not easily traceable that way. Okay, so like they might say, oh, there was poison, and then they figure it out it was the soup, but then the responsibility goes back to the soup company.
But yeah, it's that easy for them to do things, just like switching, vials in a lab. They are the best of the best. And, I've been thinking a lot about what are we going to do? We rely on the presidents of this country and the power and government to help people. I see homeless all the time. I was coming home from the grocery store a minute ago, and you got these guys, and it's 112 here today, gonna be. So they dress with their blankets to try to sweat themselves into a cool state. But you got more and more homeless all the time.
Right.
And I've tried to help the homeless. I really have. And every single time I've tried to help them, I get fucked. A few years ago, I tried to help a guy. He got kicked out of his house. He was an alcoholic. I let him sleep in my camper trailer. It's all I had to let him sleep in. And he trashed it. And then there was, a gal across the street here that got evicted. She was, coming over here. It was like, okay, well, you could sleep on the couch for a few days. And then the next thing you know, your jewelry box is empty. It's like you want to help these people, but when they keep screwing you over for trying to help them, it don't work. But what are we going to do? We got to help them in a way where they're not going to screw us for trying to help them.
Yeah.
But, it's a crime to be homeless anymore. And it's our government's, we should be charging our government with the crime of allowing this to happen to our people. Straight up.
It's shocking when you see the number of homeless, displaced, and even mentally unstable people out there. Like years ago, you didn't see that, but you drive through like basically any city, and they're everywhere. And it's just,
Yeah, mental. Well, you got all these, our government's making money off all these illegal drugs they're sending over, and these drugs aren't no good. They're making, you see these homeless people talking to themselves all the time.
yeah,
And, I mean, even my son, but I believe my son was under MK Ultra and control because he was my son. But yeah, it's really, really bad, the mental state. I mean, are they doing that? I was watching a video of World War I, World War II. Did they want our great fighting men to be killed on the front lines? They're destroying our country.
right, right.
I drive around town and it's like, I don't see any people that would make a good soldier.
Yeah. You don't see, we'll call them manly men anymore, right? They're all like, they call them soy boys, the man bun and now we've got guys wearing makeup and skirts and like they've made it so no one will repopulate the planet and no one will fight for their country, right? So America is basically easy pickings.
Well, you got these regimes, China and Russia, and they're all regimes. And, they, I hate to say it, but why we buy everything from China is because they're getting paid 25 cents an hour to make all this crap.
Yeah.
Too sensuous. It's a regime. They're slaves. The people are slaves to the government. And that's what they want the United States of America to be. And we're falling for their tricks.
Yep.
It's that simple. We are buying all this crap from slaves and it's ruining us. Nothing is made in America that's worth a shit anymore. All the factories have closed down. Everything that you buy is China made. It's huge, but we the people have to stand up and put a stop to it.
Right.
We really do, or we're going to be the slaves. I don't, I'm not going to live that fucking long, but I don't want to see the families of, all these families and their children, the future of America, to fall victim to what's coming.
Right.
And that's my big fight. That's my big fight. Hopefully, my story will get out. Things will change. These Paul Revere's of 25, all you lions. And with that said, thank you, Sue. And thank you, Lions, for sharing each and every day. I can't do it myself. And you guys are making a huge difference.
You're always welcome. And I wanted to, for the newer viewers that are watching, if you want to see John's documentary, which is fabulous, go to thequietjourney.tv. Now remember the .tv. If you put com in there, it's not going to work. Okay. It's a 1 hour movie. It's fabulous. So please watch that and share that around with your friends, because that gives an overview of John's story, as does this book that John wrote, Stolen Identity, right? Available on the website and Amazon. And then we've got another book called The Historian's Tale with John and Mary Maxwell. That's kind of a supplement. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if they took that down off of Lulu or not. Mary's trying to get it on um,
Amazon.
Amazon right now as we
Yeah.
speak. I'm going to be meeting with Mary here in the future, and hopefully we can figure it out to blast that book all around the world.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
I
So
think
we,
I'm getting some more. I ran out of copies, so the color copies that I had are very rare. I'm getting a few more maybe in the mail today, but right now they're not available for sale.
right, right. Well, okay. So what I wanted to say is the story is getting out there. People have been buying the books. They've been watching the documentary. They've been watching these kind of videos. Like you're doing videos every day as well. Our group that is watching this now is getting the story, and we are sharing. Shannon has been going down to Dallas.
Oh, how beautiful!
I think she might have been there 7 times as of last weekend, handing out flyers, talking to people, telling them the story. There's a lot of other good supporters on Facebook. So let's talk about the Facebook growth. It seems like all of a sudden people are starting to pay attention more on Facebook to you.
Yeah, I think Facebook must have slipped up and let it get out to too many people. I'm really not sure.
Yeah,
But with that said, thank you, Lion Amy. I can't message Amy back, but she made these. I
yeah,
told you so. It's got the fake George and Trump, and I told you so. They're fake. It's not going to happen. He's never going to be the vice president because he's dead, people. So that's a cool. She's making some more of these. That's Amy. Thank you, Amy. But Shannon's making some with the picture of me and my father on the side.
yeah, yeah,
So those will be coming also. And I'm not sure if I'm going to add them with a pendant or try to sell them. I would love to see merchandise start popping up. Like the hats and shirts and things.
yeah.
The Quiet Journey, you can get a Quiet Journey shirt. But I was thinking today, I need some badass shirts like bikers would wear with flames on them, and John Kennedy Jr. is coming, and he ain't taking no shit from nobody. I love it though. Shannon Sheridan, she was saying, "I'm learning from you, John. People come in and tell me I'm full of shit and I'm delusional and need to go to the mental hospital. Just tell them to go fuck themselves."
Well,
Because that's what I do.
she's had some
People,
haters.
but you got to
Yeah,
be, yeah, you got to be careful on the internet because they do that just so you'll tell them to go fuck themselves, and then they'll report you through Facebook. So
yeah.
just be careful. Tell them to fuck themselves in a nice way. Um, one comment I always like to make is, I'm sorry to hear you're so uneducated,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah,
you know what? If somebody were to watch this video right now, and they're listening, they're like, they're probably their jaw's going to drop. They're going to be like, what are these people talking about? They're crazy. But if they will take the time 1 hour and watch the quietjourney.tv and or look at the books. Okay, so this particular book has been read, and there's a channel on YouTube which is in the description where you can go and listen to the book if you don't want to buy it or if you don't like to read. You can get the story. We're doing these
that's
about
D on YouTube. Have you heard from D lately? I don't believe I've been so busy and everything.
no,
But she was so wonderful to actually read the whole book on YouTube. That
yeah,
was way cool of her.
yeah, yeah.
She's
So
she's another lion that's gonna be put out there in the history books for you know you got Betsy Ross and you got Paul Revere. Well, all you supporters are the Paul Reveres of 25, and you
well,
really are. I hope you go into changing the history books, helping change the history books for sharing my story of what's really going on and exposing all these criminals for not letting it out.
this is such a big story. Okay, like I've told you before, my opinion, which of course is the right one, is once your story gets out there, more and more and more people are going to come forward with their story. Celebrities, offspring, like, we're going to be seeing whistleblowers come out of the woodwork because of what you've done. You've, like, been like digging the foundation, if you will, with your persistence, and it's like, think of it this way too. All right, nobody has any money. Okay, those that have been trafficked or abused in whatever way, hidden away, whatever it is, their identity changed. They've got no money. All right, they've got no influence. Nobody believes them. Just so look how hard, like, we're working to get your story out. All right, and somebody else is like, they've got even less resources than you do. So you are plowing the way for them. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and these resources on my end are a true blessing. They really are. I had a comment. I made a video. This is one of the king's
Coins.
oh, what do you call that? Frequency
Yep.
thingies. And I got a water fountain I had to put in out front. And I made a video of me holding this under the water as it was going on there. And then I put it in and made my wish. And somebody that said the other day, I think that would be better if it was in your home. And it's like, you don't know how good this thing's work. You have no idea. And with that, I get blessings and then I get hindered. Here's a great example of how daddy's manifesting all this stuff. My son died of heat exposure, so-called heat exposure. What really happened? I still got a lot of questions, but we have a swamp cooler right now, and it's 112 here today, and it's going to be getting hotter here. So this wonderful lion, bless her heart, sent me some money for an air conditioner. And I went and got the biggest, baddest air conditioner I could possibly get. I looked around and I found an appliance store up in Kingman. So I went up and I got a 3-ton mini split unit. It's huge. It's going to, she said, yeah, I hope you and Robin need some blankets to stay warm after you put this air conditioner in.
Awesome.
But that was a true blessing. It was a true blessing. So here's what I've been struggling with. I put the air conditioner in myself, and you need to drain the air out of these mini split units. Suck all the air. Once they're brand new, you got to suck all the air out so the coolant, and yeah, however it works. So I went over across the street over here to a AC repair place, and I said, can you guys come by and drain the air out of my unit? And then I'll be done. It's all ready to go. All day long, no phone call, no nothing. Nobody showed up. The next day, I said, they ain't showing up. More bullshit. So I got online. I figured out all the tools I need. I went to Harbor Freight yesterday. I bought $200 freaking dollars worth of stuff so I could get my air conditioner work. Tools I'll never use again. I got the little vacuum pump and all this, the gauges, auto mechanic crap, and I hooked it all up. And I'm missing this little fucking part. This one little part that hooks to the AC, and you hook it to all this stuff I bought, and it'll suck it out, and then I'll be able to go. So I said, I got to get this thing done. It's 112. I want Robin and Bubba to be cool. So I ran to True Value. Nothing. I was like, okay, I'll build it myself. So I grabbed a part from True Value. I ran to Lowe's, searched all their plumbing parts for this part. Nothing. I ran to Home Depot, and I was spending all day running around looking for this little damn $2 part. And I couldn't figure it out. I thought I got the parts, and it's like, well, this little part's different. So I said, I'm ordering one from Amazon. And I got on Amazon yesterday, and I ordered this $10 part to have it sent here. So hopefully it'll get here today or tomorrow, and I can do it. I paid a little extra so they can ship it here faster so I can have air conditioner. But it's always something. It's always something. But the blessings are coming. The blessings are there. Daddy's taking care of John. He really is. The story's getting out more, and it's so appreciated. I lived in poverty my whole life. I never even knew these people existed. But there's so much love in their heart, and they know that this is real. We're doing it.
Right.
So, I can't thank everybody enough. I really can't. You and Smarty and all these lions that are popping up. But thanks anyway. I can't thank you enough. But big hugs.
We all are here to support you to help get your story out. We, learn and understand from you. Like I've learned a lot in this past year about how it all works, why somebody would do all that. Why would you go to the trouble of taking someone's identity? Well, you just showed us in that the auction book, okay? They basically switched identities and drained the accounts. They took control of the estates.
Yeah.
And I wonder what happened to Aristotle's stuff. Like,
Oh
is
yeah, that all got squandered too. And these people that are able to follow the money trail know that where all that money was going to.
yeah,
There's listings, there's people, there's records that are all going to the cabal. But yeah, this book right here, that's why they do it.
yeah,
Billions of dollars. That's why the secret societies.
yeah.
It's
That book,
yeah,
that
that's how they
book,
work.
that book took a long time and a lot of money to create way back when. Okay, because it's got a lot of pictures of it and all that. And I'm glad whoever owned it kept it, but that person that got it must have had money, right? You wouldn't be invited, the average person would never be invited to this kind of an
No,
auction.
it's all about trophies. It's called a
That is-
trophy.
Yeah,
You get a piece of the prize.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a trophy. Just like the
yeah.
ears around my neck were my trophies.
Yikes. Yeah.
This is some good coffee. I don't know if I should drink anymore or not,
Well,
but
okay, so basically for those that are new to this story, all right, identity was switched, horrible things happened. And I've been mulling this question over for a while. Did they mean for you to go into organized crime and have all of this pain and suffering? Or do you think it was just the way the ball bounced? Like they put you into protection, right? And did that go horribly awry, or did they do it on purpose, do you think?
I wish I had all the answers. I
Yeah,
really do, but I don't.
yeah,
Um, Everything was so secretive. I learned, there's so many secrets at the top because there's so many enemies at the top. You got to do everything quiet. I mean, one of the big things I was taught was don't talk about shit. Don't. Don't use the telephone and call somebody and say, "Hey, this is going on today." That's still very hard with me and Robin because you got to remember somebody's listening
yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
There's technology they have now that somebody's listening all the time, but we're trained, we're programmed, and this goes back years, all the way back to the '70s, where I knew this was going on, because you can put a microphone in somebody's house and you can find out every
yeah,
single thing, and
yeah,
people are, Robin, hey John, where are you going? Robin, don't worry about where I'm going. Because then you got to say, well, I'm going to Smith's. So if somebody's listening, boom, they know I'm going to Smith's.
right.
People, are just aren't in tune to what is being said. There was
Right.
a sign in the clubhouse of the Hells Angels when I was a kid that said, "Hey, if you use this phone, remember somebody else is listening to your conversation."
Oh, wow. Yeah,
And that was it, right there on the
yeah,
phone.
yeah,
And they were, they wanted me dead. They wanted to find out, hey, yeah, we're going over here, and John's going with us,
right.
you know,
So they were able to track you anyway, but they would track your whereabouts and then they would set up hits on you.
or they would find me and plan me to go, because when you have to work for a living, you have a boss. That's what made it so hard for me because I had to have a boss. I can't handle having a bosses because they tell you what to do, where you're going to be going. It was hard as a truck driver because you go to your dispatch and they say you're going to New York City to this place. And then you're like, well, I know that place. I was shown that place. They're planning to kill me there. So it's like, quit your job, go somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. Hard,
But
hard to get
I
in.
learned I learned a lot, and I get a lot of comments. Well, they would have killed you. Um, I get that so much. If you were really John Kennedy Jr. and you're coming out about the government, they would have killed you already. Well, I'll be honest, they don't know how many people that they killed protecting me. People have no idea. I do. It was a lot. A lot of people wanted me dead. So you had the good and the bad. You had people trying to kill me. You had two people trying to protect me. They were showing me so much, but I don't have all the answers. But I was shown this is how the cabal work. This is how they operate. They're here. This is a sign you look for to know if they're family of the cabal. They'll put something in the front yard like a water fountain. So, if you're ever driving down the road and you got to go meet somebody and they have a water fountain, consider them family. There's so many little things when you walk into somebody's house. If they have something certain on a wall, um, just whatever it is. I'm just using this for example. But if you go over to somebody's house and there's a Mickey Mouse clock on a wall, they're part of the secret society. Not that it's I'm just using that for example because I don't want to give away what I've learned and what I know.
Yeah.
So, but that's how it's done.
Interesting. Interesting. So the average person would totally miss that.
Totally.
Totally. Wow.
Well,
Wow.
one example is I had it. Those old bed warmers from the early 1900s. They would put the coals in from the fireplace and they would go warm up the bed.
Yeah.
And people put those on the walls of their homes, as a display.
Right.
Well, some people were told you go find one of those bed warmers and display it in your home in your living room. So when guests come over, you don't have to say, okay, I'm a member of this secret society. They already know. They walk in your house, there's a bed warmer on your wall. They know you're part of their secret organization already, just because there's a bed warmer on the wall. It's secret messages like that they know, but you don't have to say out loud.
Interesting. Yeah, I've seen those on, I don't know if I've seen them on people's walls, but they do put them out there. And it's kind of
Even if they're stood in the corner or by the fireplace or whatever, but there's no use for a bed warmer in today's society.
No. It's odd that they would display that. That's a symbol that they're in the cabal. Wow. Okay, good to know. Good to know.
I
But
had one myself, and I had to sell it at a yard sale just because I've lived in poverty and I can't keep things like that, especially when you're living out of a car or truck or whatever. But mine was actually monogrammed from the Queen in England.
Oh.
Well, yeah. So it probably came out of, but it was old. It was like 1800s or something. Real fancy bed warmer.
So
but I used to love nice things. If I found something at a flea market or whatever, but yeah.
Why did the Queen of England give you that?
Oh, she didn't give it to me. I found it at a flea market, I believe, but it had the monogram on the back. From the yeah.
All right.
Wayne probably gave it to me.
Okay. Interesting.
See, that's one thing with MK Ultra is when you're under, they'll wake you up. Because MK Ultra is designed where you don't know, you don't remember. That's the tool of MK Ultra. You get somebody under MK Ultra, you have them commit a murder or something for you. You don't have to even be there, but you program under MK Ultra to have somebody go kill somebody or whatever you want them to do. They go back to sleep. They wake up the next day and go, "Oh man, I'm refreshed. I got a good night's sleep." No idea that they just killed somebody. None. So it's the perfect tool. But what do you do if you want to wake somebody up? Like they have been waking me up on purpose, purposely waking me up. So let's say you get somebody under MK Ultra and they go kill somebody or they're there and you get something like this button and you say, see this button? Next time you're out and about and you see this button, and remember something. So you show that to somebody under MK Ultra, and then their favorite spot is the church Goodwill. So you walk into the church Goodwill and you throw it on the counter. And then somebody like John comes in there and picks it up and goes, "Oh shit, what am I remembering? That was crazy." but it helps wake you up under the MK Ultra, where you would normally wake up, not remember nothing. So I was slowly, like when I was mixing cement when they killed this woman and buried her in the basement, and I was mixing the concrete for all this to happen. I had concrete on my hands. So the next day I wake up, didn't remember a damn thing except now I got concrete on my hands. How did I get that? How come my hands are all, I'm a truck driver. I haven't been playing in concrete for years. Why is there concrete on my hands? But it's MK Ultra.
So how do you remember the incident that she was put in the cement?
Just from remembering.
Okay,
I wasn't supposed to remember.
yeah.
But once I remembered the cement on my hands, and the best way to do it is right before bedtime, right before you get to the deep sleep, right before you fall asleep, you try to remember. Just like when I was in bed trying to remember all the murders the mafia did. And I was like, okay, there's 80. Oh, fuck. And then you start counting the other ones on there, and you're like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a weapon. It's one of the best weapons, and you won't wake up to it unless you try to wake yourself up to it, or they try to wake yourself up to it. But yeah, so then you start remembering. You're like, okay, I was there with this person, and they were talking about the mob bosses wanting me to be there while I was mixing the concrete up. And then you had one of the mob bosses coming up to me, and these were Italian guys in fucking Philly or some shit like that, New Jersey, anyway.
Yeah.
And they were trying to give me shit, and I was giving them right shit back. And somebody said, "No, he's supposed to be here. I want to fuck with John Kennedy." But yeah, it's a huge tool. MK Ultra is a huge tool. You can get people together to do crimes like kill a woman, bury her under the cement, get the crew there. The next day, they don't even know they did it. That's the beauty of it as far as criminal activity goes. You're getting people to do crimes for you that don't remember their crimes. They get asked about freaking, let's say the FBI comes up to them. Were you here or there? I don't even know what you're talking about. Just like the guy that killed my uncle. Just like the assassin that killed my Uncle Bobby. I don't even remember. I wasn't there. How could you say I was there? I don't remember a thing. I would never want to kill somebody. But that's MK Ultra. You can get people at a location, just like the people and the CIA and all this is organized so they can get the killer of my father or a person to pretend he's the killer. Then they can get this person to kill him. Then you can get this person to go to prison and die in prison. On and on and on. It's a powerful tool that people don't know about, but the government is using that against us.
Right. That's huge. So you're saying there are touchstones where if you get whatever it is, it kind of the memory might come flooding back from that.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's how. And I remember them talking to me. It's like we want to wake him up, but if we do it too fast, and bring back these memories because he's been MK Ultra too fast, he'll go crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. So they do it slowly. They'll bring back the memories slowly of what, because it's a hypnosis. If people know about hypnotism, you can put someone under hypnosis. When you bring them out of hypnosis, they don't remember. It's the same thing. MK Ultra is the same thing as hypnosis, but on a bigger level. So it's like you do things to the person you just put under hypnosis. Like if I went under hypnosis to quit smoking, they're going to say, okay, it's going to taste like shit, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to want a cigarette. If you smoke a cigarette, you're going to get a nasty taste in your mouth, on and on and on. But it's the same once you wake up, you don't know, you light a cigarette, and it's like shit. I don't want to smoke.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Same as hypnosis, just on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
A government-controlled CIA level where they did experiments on people and gave them LSD, and so on and so on.
Yeah. So I guess what I'd like to ask is, do you know any specifics about this woman that was put in the cement? Why she?
Oh yeah, I could tell you the whole story if I bothered to look it up.
Oh,
you know why?
No.
because they made a show about it. You know, these crime shows, Unsolved Mysteries and all this.
Yeah.
You know why those shows are made?
They're probably showing what they've done. They've probably
Exactly.
perpetrated. Yeah.
They are telling their stories on TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's, you know, when they say call in, if you know any information about this crime or this murder, call us.
Yeah.
Tell us you know all about it,
Yeah.
right? So you get the little housewife next door calls them up and says, guess what? I was there. I saw him dragging that body in that house. Yeah, it was the guy next door. Well, guess what? She just lost her life because she was telling them that they cover all the loose ends. So
Wow.
they put it out there on
Wow.
TV to get information. Call this 1-800 number if you know anything about these missing children.
Yeah. Wow.
That's how powerful they are. And I know that's how they work.
Quite offensive.
Yeah. They'll do the crimes, they'll put it out there, but it's not to help.
Yeah.
It's the other way around. Just that, you know, just to get the information they want. Are there any loose ends? Let's put a 1-800 number. You got anything information more about this murder? Call us. Let us know.
Wow. Wow. Thanks for pointing that out. I
Yeah. So
actually,
that murder that I was there mixing the cement,
yeah.
that was actually on one of those shows.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember which one. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, the husband was accused of killing his wife, burying her in the basement with cement. But here's the thing, the husband didn't do it. So they wanted the husband to go to jail. They wanted the wife dead. End of story. After they killed her, he went to prison. They got rid of the whole scenario right then and there. But if anybody knows anything more about this, please call us.
Colin. Well, look at the lives that they've affected in a negative fashion. They've broken up that family. The wife is dead. The husband's in jail for something he didn't do, right? And then, yeah, just that's ugly, ugly.
But that's how they work. That's
Yeah,
how the cabal, organized crime, works.
yeah,
If they want someone, if you were to piss off Wayne in any way, Wayne was so powerful. You're, you know, Robin said, "I want to meet Wayne. He protected you.
yeah, yeah,
He kept you safe." It's like, shut up, Robin. You don't ever want to meet Wayne
yeah,
because if Robin was to piss Wayne off in a little bit, I wouldn't have my beautiful Robin anymore. She'd be gone. I'd
yeah,
never see Robin again. And people need to realize there's people with that much power in our government, and all they have to do is whisper in somebody's ear and point their finger, and
right,
they're dead.
right. Well, everything is coming out, like I said, this year. This is the year. We're all helping. We're seeing evidence on Facebook. This people are watching, watching the posts. We've upped the amps on getting it out on social media. People are telling the story. The haters have increased a little bit, okay? And they're not open-minded, and they're probably just sent to blatantly cause us like distress, whatever, right? If you don't want to listen to the story, move along, right?
And with
And
that said, my name on Facebook is David Quigley. Um, there's actually a picture of me as a child holding an M16 with Sonny, president of the Hells Angels. So if you look up David Quigley on Facebook, please follow me. We have been getting 500 to 1,000 new subscribers, and it's because you lions are making reels and sharing videos.
awesome.
Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Let's not let it slow down. Let's blow it up. Let's get it out there. Hopefully, they won't take that platform down from us, and we can actually get out to the world.
Right.
Um,
Well, it
one
is going
follow and
out
share.
there. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. I feel like we're in a good place to wrap up. Anything else you wanted to say today?
I just want to thank everybody for all their wonderful cards, their wonderful blessings, for helping me and Robin out so much, and love all you lions for all your support.
Yeah.
Remember, just tell the haters to go fuck themselves. Straight up. You
You know
all
what I
aren't blind.
do?
You lions aren't blind.
I put your website there and I said, like, info is there. Watch The Quiet Journey, read the book. If you've got open-mindedness, to at least learn the facts before you walk away,
Right.
But a lot of them are not there for that reason. They're there to argue with us and waste our time, you know?
And that's sad because it is such
Yeah.
an important story for the future of America
So
and around the world that
yeah.
we get it out. So we're marching forward, and
Yeah.
but I can't thank people enough, Sue.
Yeah.
Just like I can't.
Yeah. Well, hey, we are here because we want to be here and we want to help. I want the truth out. The other people watching this want the truth out. We want to help you. We want to help all the other people behind you. Like, what kind of a world is it where everything is, basically a lie? Everything we've been told is a lie. No one wants that.
Yeah, and so many people are brainwashed
Yeah.
into not knowing. Hey, we're being lied to. But
The
yeah,
more I learn about how we've been lied to, the more I realize how big the lies are, and that there's so many more out there that I haven't realized yet. It's quite shocking.
and
Yeah,
so many people that know the truth are afraid to help
yeah,
share the truth
yeah.
because they don't want to be buried in somebody's basement and have their old man go to prison for killing them.
Yep, yep, exactly. Yep, the
And
scarcity.
the website, the pendants, the beautiful pendants,
Yep.
um, purchase of the pendant helps out everybody. It's huge.
Yeah. So the website, which I love to share, of course, I am so excited about that website, is the real John F. Kennedy jr.com. And it will be in the description. But on that, there's a lot of content. We'll be expanding it as time goes on. And then there's the pendant on the shopping page, and it has healing and protective frequencies in it. And then there's also the t-shirts and hoodies on that same page that you can order. So your help is greatly appreciated with that.
Sure is.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much.
And there's links to the books. So there's a lot of content out there, as well as if you want to support John in some way or, share with your friends. So, well, thank you so much, John. I appreciate your time. And I want to thank those that are watching this and doing their part. Thank you for your help.
I
Take
love it.